So let's talk about purpose. And all of us have the same purpose. It's to live as the highest expression of light that we can. And all consciousness is really in this same purpose. So once we know that that is our purpose, then let's put it aside. Now let's talk about mission. Because we all have a soul mission, a collective mission, and a planetary mission. We came here in the highest expression of light in order to do certain things, in order to experience certain things for our own expansion, the self, for the collective expansion, the collective, and for the planetary expansion, the planet. And each of these things can have multiple missions, let's call it, across your life. And these will unfold so long as you are in alignment with the self, the collective, and the planet. So, purpose and mission is something that people get very caught up on. And I want to simplify this in one understanding or in an easier way to understand, let's say. So this comes down to the law of potential. And the way you were born, the way you got to this reality is through the law of potential. It's because the mission that you set forth for yourself, the collective, and the planet reflected the mission or the desire of the self, the collective, and the planet. And the law of potential matched you so that you could be born in this space and time, in this reality, on this planet, whatever date and time you were born, so that you could come forth and express those things in the highest form of light in your greatest expansion, growth, expression as you as a light being. So, in simple terms, living as the highest form expression of light and for living out your missions is actually is the way you got here. So let's take this to another place let's expand on this a little bit. If that's how you got here, then the desires you hold, the desires which live within, is a reflection of those things. It's a reflection of the mission. It's a reflection of what you're here to do for the collective. It's a reflective of what you're here to contribute to the planet, what you're here to contribute to these timelines as the highest form and the highest expression of light that you could possibly live. So what does that actually mean? It means living a life of potentials, living in the law of potential is the only thing you really have to do. If we could call it have to. But it is the only thing you have to do. You don't have to figure out the purpose. You don't have to figure out the mission because your desires are them. They're already aligned because you were placed here by the law of potential. You got birth here by the law of potential, which matched your desires with the planetary desires, with the collective desires. And as a result, you were able to be expressed into this reality and into this form. So what if you lived a life of potentials? What if you set forth your greatest desires, set forth spirals of energies of your greatest desires by going within, by looking within, by bringing up those desires and allowing them to come forth into energetic form to move through attracting, giving, manifesting, and receiving for the law of potential to express them in the highest form of love and light and the greatest expression that it can possibly be in this here, in this now, or whenever you set them forth. This is what a life of potential is. And when you're living a life of potential, purpose and mission becomes the result. So what if you lived a life of potential? Are you ready to live a life of potential? Because if you are, you don't need to figure out the rest. You just need to align with all that you are and allow that to be your greatest expression.